This is a 2001 Dodge Caravan with a 3.3, getting pretty close to 200,000 miles. Customer concern is the check engine light is on, the vehicle runs fine. These people are actually snowbirds, spend all winter in Florida, and just before they're ready to come home, check engine light popped in, so they went into a parts store to get it scanned, and of course those people say, well, tighten your gas cap for you, clear the codes, should be set. The vehicle made it all the way home, runs fine, however the check engine light is on again, and they'd like it to be off. I hook up my Solus, start retrieving codes here. See there's two different codes stored, P0455 evap large leak, and also we have P0442 evap system small leak detected. Just because we have a small leak and a large leak code gives me a pretty good indication this problem's been happening for a while, because obviously set the small leak code first, and then it's probably matured into a large leak at this point. So I go into bidirectional systems test, as Snap-on calls it. Select evap monitor test. As you can read in the dialog here, it says this test will force evap monitor to run. Any failures detected during test will be stored as a DTC. The test may take up to 20 minutes to run. Engine RPM will be changed during the test. Press yes to continue. As you see here, it says evap monitor test in progress. Test may take up to 20 minutes to run. It generally takes close to 5 minutes in my experience, and you will hear the RPMs raise and lower several times as it's going through different phases of the test. When it gets all done, it says evap monitor test completed. Check for codes set during the test, during codes and one trip codes. There again, this is very important. I did clear codes just to make sure I was starting with a clean slate. When I get all done here, you see that I have a P0455 large leak code I set during this test. At this point, I'm very confident that yes, there is an evap problem with this van, and it's time to do a little bit further diagnosis. Next thing I'm going to do is run it up on the hoist, put it up in the air, and here's the leak detection pump. It's got a little bit of road grime, but what do you expect for 200,000 miles on the vehicle? On this particular vehicle, I pull a couple bolts to lower it down, get a little more access to it, and I remove the output side of it, which goes to the canister and then ultimately back to the tank and the filler neck. I pull that hose off and install a small balloon on it, and I'm going to reinitialize the test. The first test, I really don't hear or feel anything physically on the LDP, so I take my ratchet handle and rap on it a couple times, and all of a sudden now I get the thunk, 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 and get the pulsing and pumping sensation out of the pump. It actually starts to blow up the balloon. So, what do we do in this situation? Do we sell them a hammer to go out and tap on it occasionally? No. It's time to replace the LDP. It's been through the ringer for the last 200,000 miles. Time for a new one. However, I still want to make sure that we don't have any further leaks. I do my visual inspection. I find the L-shaped hose here. It goes from the back of canister 1, or the steel line, ultimately up to the purge solenoid. It's very common for developing some hairline cracks on these hoses, and this one definitely has some cracks on top of it. At this point, I'm feeling warm and fuzzy that I actually prevented problem number 2, and now I can confidently tell my service writer that yes, we have a leak and we have a faulty leak detection pump. It's time to order both of them up. Customer approves the job. I replace the parts. I'm feeling good, happy about myself. Well, after I ran the test, I see we have a P0455. Beginning to second guess myself and think, well, maybe I was in a rush. I probably didn't clear codes again. I clear the codes, run the test again, and I get the same message. It's definitely got a P0455 again. At this point, I know my new LDP is actually working. I found one leak, but there may be other leaks yet. I hook up the smoke machine. As you can see here, I've got some smoke coming out around the gas cap. I'm starting to think, well, maybe it's not so bad if it's just a cap. I pull the cap off. You can see in the picture here, indicated by the arrow, there's actually a crack in the filler neck. And since then, I've come to see probably a dozen of these issues. It's almost like when the people shove the gas cap in and pivot it, it hits there on this plastic filler neck and ultimately cracks it. Anything's possible. Unfortunately, at this point, we need a new filler neck. I replaced the filler neck, which really isn't that bad of a job. Relatively inexpensive as well. Get it all completed, clear codes, rerun the test, look in one-trip failures, no codes present. Now I'm finally getting the satisfaction of knowing that the job is done properly. Here's the final repair order. Describes what we did. The customer is actually pretty cool because now we can tell them that yes, the problem is solved. we're good to go. They feel comfortable with it.